Hey guys, welcome to Picture Roll 4x4.
Today Garrett and I are up in the mountains outside of Salt Lake City, Utah, and we thought we'd take a few minutes and give you a quick walk around of our 2020 JL Rubicon. So when I bought this Jeep, we got one of the things that we wanted to get with it was the factory steel bumpers, and the factory bumpers come with end caps that kind of stick out to protect your front tires and the front of your Jeep. But we really wanted to have the extra clearance, so one of the first things that we did to this Jeep when we got it was we removed the end caps to give our Jeep kind of a stubby bumper look. And along with that, we ordered up a Quadratec Stealth 10K winch, which we mounted on a worn winch plate, which you can't see in the video here, but the nice thing about this winch is it's really low profile, so it fits right inside of the bumper, and it's kind of protected from the rocks and things in the trail, as well as just, you know, road grime and stuff. So we've had this winch now for a couple of years. We've never had to use it, but we have it just in case. So the next major modification that we did was we purchased a Dynatrac Enduro Sport 2-inch lift, which came with springs and shocks. I don't know, some other stuff. Not quite sure. It's been a while since we put it in. But we've been really happy with the lift. It allowed us to put 37-inch tall tires on the Jeep, and we've wheeled it quite a bit, and it's got quite a bit of clearance. We've been very happy. Along with that lift kit, we also purchased some Icon Vehicle Dynamics 17-inch by 10-inch wheels, and these Milestar Patagonia 37 1250 tires. So this is actually our second set of these Milestar Patagonia tires. We purchased the first set basically because the price was right, and we had seen other reviews and people seemed pretty happy with them. So we weren't quite sure how they were going to work for us, but we ran the first set for about 25,000 miles, and we rotated them, you know, pretty frequently to keep them wearing straight. And we were really happy with how they worked. So we replaced them with a new set here maybe a month or two ago, and again, so far been very happy. These tires get really good traction when you're on the red rock, the slick rock in Moab, and so far, you know, on other trails, just on the dirt and rocks and stuff, they seem to do really well. All right, so another thing that we changed on this Jeep, and I'm sure many people are wondering what it means and why it's on here, is we changed the name of our Jeep. We call this Jeep the Rubicon. Now, it kind of sounds like Rubicon, which was the whole point, but if you're wondering why and what it means, what it really comes from is my name is Blair, and at some point in time, my kids started calling me Blah. I don't know why, but it's just stuck. And so when I got this Jeep, it only made sense to give it a name that was personal to us, so hence the Rubicon. Anyway, kind of funny, but that's why it's called that, and that's where it got its name from. So this Jeep came with the factory auxiliary switches, and we got this 40-inch single row LED light bar from Vision LED and mounted it to some Weston mounts for the to go over the cowl. I think it's a real clean look. One of the reasons we went with this setup is because by putting the light bar down here underneath the windshield, it doesn't make any noise, and I've heard a lot of complaints from other people who put the light bar above their windshield that on the freeway they get tons of noise from the wind. But by mounting it down here on the cowl, we don't hear it at all. Now, one of the disadvantages of mounting it on the cowl is now you can't actually flip your hood all the way open if you're working underneath the hood. So if we have to do any work under the hood, we'd have to remove this just so we can have more room underneath there. But so far we've been really happy with it. It's out of the way, it's quiet, and it works real well.
Alright, so on the side of these, we removed the factory rock sliders that came with the Rubicon, and we put on these LOD Signature Series rock sliders. And these are frame mounted, and they have done their job very well. We've taken them down to Moab, and they've gotten some serious hits, and they've held up well. So we're really happy with it so far. And we've actually powder coated the inserts red, as you can see, and yeah, they've done their job.
So when we put on the Dynatrac 2-inch lift with these 37-inch tires, within probably a week we went on a wheeling trip with a local 4x4 club, and we quickly realized that even though we were told it wouldn't happen, the tires would rub against the factory plastic inner fenders, to the point where I had to get out and with a razor blade and cut a big chunk of the inner fender out just so we didn't have to listen to the noise all day long. So in order to solve that problem, we ordered some Artec inner fenders, which we powder coated red to kind of go with the theme of our Jeep. We put them on the front even though we didn't really need to, just so everything would kind of match. When we did that, we also ran into another problem, which was that when you remove the factory plastic fenders, the little clips that hold them onto the body, they don't go back in very easily. Like they get real loose, and so we actually had our fender rip off in the car wash, and we ended up just actually tearing out and doing what they call a fender chop, which is where we took out the there's like a plastic liner that goes inside of this fender here, and when you remove that, you can actually use rib nuts and stainless steel fasteners, and we actually rib nutted and fastened this fender back onto the Jeep with fasteners, and by removing that plastic liner, you gain some clearance, and this fender is on the Jeep much more solid than it was before. I don't quite know why they don't just bolt them on anyways, but you can take off the plastic clips and replace them with rib nuts and fasteners, and this fender is much more solid than it was before. And so now we're getting no rubbing, we have a lot more clearance, and we can actually remove the fenders very easily by just unbolting them, and if we need to get, you know, in there for some reason. So we came up here to the mountains to try to get some different footage for this video, and it's decided to rain on us here. So while it's raining, we just hopped into the Jeep, and we're going to show you a few of the upgrades that we did inside of the vehicle. We'll start out, the first thing we did was we added a spider web shade cover, so that in the summertime, when we have the roof off, it'll provide some shade, we won't get sunburned. The nice thing about this cover is that it allows you to, you can actually leave it on while your roof is on. You can still access all the latches and things that you need in order to take your freedom puffs off, and not have to actually take this shade cover off every time you take the cover on and off. We have also added some communication devices in this vehicle. So the first thing we added was this Cobra, I don't know what the model is, but this Cobra CB radio. It works good, and it's easy to mount, and you know, you can remove it and when you're not using it, so it's not just hanging from your dashboard. And that's worked well. But recently we were on a trail with a group that required us to have a GMRS radio, and so we added a Rugged Radios GMR 45. We've been very happy with this radio. It's much clearer than the CB radio, and gives you a really good signal, and you can get you can communicate much farther away with this radio.
Alright, so back here on the roll cage, we mounted a bar tack fire extinguisher mount and mounted a fire extinguisher on it. That way, if we ever need it, it's there. And also back here on the tailgate, we mounted an Outback table. Let's see if I can get it open here. And this table is really nice for making lunch or anything on the trail, and it's got a cutting board that slides out. And then we've mounted our Jeep badges of honor on here, and then just some patches and stickers from the Jeep Jamboree and Easter Jeep Safari.
So now we're at the back of the Jeep here, and this is one of our more recent modifications. Is for a while we were just running no rear bumper, but I was always concerned that we might hit the tub on a rock on this back corner, and I was looking for a solution for that. And actually we were at the, sorry, there's a bug in my face. Actually, we were at the I think it was the Jeep Jamboree, I don't know, but we met someone who had ordered a, this is what they call, I think, a Rusty's rear fascia plate, which offers quite a bit of protection to your rear corner panels back here. And along with that, you can buy this Rusty's, I think it's called a stubby bumper, but this covers up all the frame and things, and this kind of cleans the back of your Jeep. So, you know, I've kind of been like with the idea of being a minimalist with this Jeep and trying to like keep things from being, I don't just need a lot of extra stuff, but just things that we actually need and create extra clearance. And so far, we've been very happy with this. In fact, we were at 5 Mile Pass a few weeks ago. I think you may have seen our video. And we were backing up to try and line up for an obstacle, and I ran this right into the back of a rock, and very, very, very little damage. and protected the Jeep from getting hit. If I didn't have this, we probably would have hit the frame. That wouldn't have been good. So anyway, it's done a great job, and we're very happy with this fascia plate and this bumper. Another thing that we did in the back here is when we originally did the lift and got the wheels and tires, the weight of those 37-inch tires was probably going to be too much weight for the factory hinges. So we had been shopping around, and I saw this Motobilt, I think it's called a heavy duty pivot tire mount. Sorry, there's bugs everywhere. And it looked really, really nice, and I was really excited for it. And it said that, you know, we could easily mount up to, I think, a 40-inch tire or something, I don't know, way bigger than what we had, onto this spare tire mount, and we'd have no problem our tailgate closing properly. So we replaced the hinges in this whole mount, and we actually had our spare tire mounted to the back. And even with this big spare tire mount, we were having trouble closing the tailgate. I was having to actually like lift up on the tailgate and push it closed to make sure it closed nice and tight. So anyway, I haven't been the happiest with that spare tire mount. In the end, we decided that we didn't really want to carry the spare tire anyways, so we removed part of the spare tire mount and kept the hinge. And then I ordered this R-Tech spare tire delete. The reason we ordered this mainly was because it allowed us to continue to use the factory third brake light as well as the factory backup camera. We had to modify this a little bit because the mount didn't quite fit around this Motobilt hinge. So I had to cut the aluminum a little bit to make it fit. And I also added some spacers behind it in order to make this thing sit flush. But it wasn't too hard to do. I think it looks pretty clean. And not having a big 37-inch spare tire makes it so I can see out the back window when I'm driving on the freeway, as well as when we're out in the trail. And I've been very happy after taking off the spare tire.
Alright, so that about wraps up what we've already done to the Jeep. Some future plans are we're going to do Synergy steering, Fox steering stabilizer. We're going to do brakes on it, and then I want to do a fender chop. He's not so sure about it, so leave us a comment. We'd love to see what you think, because I think it would be really awesome. But yeah, that's pretty much our plans for the future. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to follow what we're going to be doing next to this and our TJ. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the trail.
Bugs are everywhere.